Oh yeah. Sorry for the late notice, man, but man, come on, man. It's a lot going on. Welcome, man. Welcome. We're just gonna let this ride. This is why I be mellowed out. That's why I don't listen to a lot. It's a lot going on out here in this world, man. Was it rest in peace of the gentleman Charlie Kirk, right? We're just gonna vibe for a minute. Mm, yeah. What's happening? So yes, man. What up? What up? How y'all feeling? Let's do it right. Welcome back. Yes, it is episode 78. It's Camp from the Porch Show, where every sound has a story, and there is a lot of sounds and a lot of stories going on right now. Um, Off the rip, I wish I hadn't got on X or Twitter. I'm calling it Twitter. Skip it. Got on Twitter after the group chat was talking about what do y'all think? And I was like, shoot, about what? Listen, when I tell y'all, I don't really be focused on nothing but what I got to do and my opportunities and trying to make a way. A lot of things really get by me, and I probably should have let this one get by me too. But um I got on Twitter and witnessed the assassination or execution or whatever you will of Charlie Kirk. Now, I don't really follow politics super heavy, but the word and the vibe that I am getting from here is poetic justice, if you will. And again, man, I felt this way when Hulk Hogan died. I feel this way about just anybody. I get people are foul people be doing crazy stuff, but my spirit is not set up to mock anyone in death. At least a person I don't really know. Now look, between me and you, there might be a couple people that, if they so happen to perish, probably won't be too sad about. It's just between me and you. However, I doubt that I will ever be in the mode of celebration or adulation. You dig what I'm saying? So I'm just saying that to say, man, I get it. I'm gonna do more research and due diligence, but man, again, I think y'all going a little too hard on somebody who, like, we literally watched out this video of him being shot and killed, and that's crazy. Um, I'm gonna move forward though, because that's not why I'm really here. I'm here to talk about black people, black culture, hip hop culture. I'm here to talk about the things that affect us in a great way. I've been meaning to listen to music, new music to give y'all some new things to vibe to rock out to. But man, I have not been in the greatest space to just be open to hear anything more than what I actually want to hear. So I've been listening to Larry June for like a week. That, like, there was one full day and a half maybe where if I played anything that was music related, it was only Larry June music. I just went to Title because the music sounds better on Title. And I get on Title and I I'm already following him as an artist page, and I just hit shuffle and just let everything just play because you'll be hard pressed to find a bad Larry June song. And man, I've been vibing to that. It's been about a week now, I want to say, or at least a full week since I've started. And that's just what I'm on, man. This could very well be a Larry June appreciation show. Because everything from the Orange Print to Until Night Comes is worthy of your ears. Even the stuff before that. But I think I got onto him at the Orange Print. So I'm not necessarily a day one fan, but You know what I'm saying? It's but it's definitely some things that I think are just worthy of your ears. Man, Jones, what up? What up? What up? What up? Man, you know what? Listen, I have so many joints, but let's keep it real simple. I'm gonna give you a good just a good few that just hop around. I'm gonna hop around just everything that I know I got here. So like right. You got Mason Cafe. I was playing that when I was getting on the live. Mason Cafe. Way too many. You know what I'm saying? From Socket to Me, part two. You know, oh, and Mason Cafe is from Out the Trunk, the project Out the Trunk. The whole collab joint he did with a Cooking Soul. Um, but Art Talk from the Great Escape, Tangible Assets from the Orange Print, Larry's Diner from was it Spaceships on the Blade. That's on here. What else we got? What else we got? Details, Alchemist and Larry June, and that's the genuine articulate. You know what I'm saying? And if y'all ever, you can catch it on YouTube. It's like a whole project just on their site. But I was gonna say Cooking Soul, Orange Season, Cooking Soul, Larry June. That's a super dope project. I just love what they did with that. So literally, man, it's I mean, take your pick. There's so many just fire joints to me. I have probably a good 60 that's just I can just shuffle through. And yeah, man, if you want to feel inspired, you want to feel motivated, you just want some peaceful vibe. I think Larry June is the best at that right now. Like the music is so chill. It's so it's really a break from a lot of this mental madness. I've been having a lot of mental madness this year, let alone like into last year. So I won't lie. Even though big fan of lo-fi, every once in a while, I might throw in a little classical. You know what I'm saying? Or I listen to nothing sometimes. Sometimes I just sit and just don't listen to nothing. But if you're looking for some hip hop, because R&B, you know, you can get your fix there too. More like, but go tone stiff, go Aaron Ray. Don't listen to like all the toxic R&B where every other bar is bitches you dumb, fuck me, take pills, do cocaine with me. Like if you trying to get away from all of that like nonsense, that bull, even in the R&B sector, listen to Larry June because I it's very peaceful, it's very chill, it's very player, and that's what I like. You know what I'm saying? I like to be peaceful, I like to be chill, and I like to keep it player. You know what I mean? And not for nothing, um, there's some motivational bars in there too. It's just about just getting on your grind, staying on your grind, making a plan for yourself. Solid plan. Action Bronson, Larry June, also on the Great Escape album. Solid Plan is one of my favorite Larry June songs. Again, if you really want that change of pace, if you ain't trying to sell dope to the entire world, if you ain't trying to shoot the block up, and if you really just not into the rappity rap rappity bap bappity bap bappity brappity bap stuff, Larry June, like it's there. I mean, because it's also not quite stoner rap, so I wouldn't go. It's not totally in the vein of your Currency, your Wiz, and like Smoke DZA and all that. But it's also not quite Rock Marciano either, or Jay Worthy. It's not quite Jay Worthy either, even though they got some dope joints together from before he was like a gangbanger, I believe. Oh, I shouldn't say that. I don't know how long he been in the gang, but I do remember there was a time where I was like, "Yo, Jay Worthy, whoever this is, this dude is hard," and I didn't associate him with any gang activity. But like Larry June is a very, you know what I'm saying, and of course, and it's not the ordinary, it's not the typical bass sound either. It's not the typical NorCal sound. So again, I can't speak highly enough about it because I think he just has a lot of great joints, and I'll be chilling, man. I'm getting old. I'm never going to stop listening to hip hop. Matter of fact, if Jones is still on here, I wonder if Jones remember when Mike Love, he was having a conversation with us about how we're going to start phasing ourselves of the hip hop, or we're going to start like not adoring it or keeping up as much. I still disagree with that. And we are now in the era where there's so many rappers that you don't have to know the ones on the radio to get some good music. You don't like there is the way labels are set up now and the way just the game of music is set up now. You literally don't have to listen to anybody. This year is still undecided to a degree about who ran away with hip hop this year. You can definitely yeah. I'm gonna always listen to rap music, man. It's not gonna change for me. I definitely had to disagree with that as well. I disagree with it when he said it. And then, but like now I want to say we're at least 5 years older than that conversation. And I'm like, I'm still rolling. I was like, I'm not, I'm gonna, I just now know the kind of rap that I want to make time for versus not. And you know, the way art is set up and the way labels are set up, the game is wide open. Like, look, 2024, that was Kendrick Lamar's year. If Complex, I think, is the platform, if they're doing the greatest rapper alive, from here to there, whenever. So if they did it right from 2010 to like 2025, Kendrick Lamar would be last year's, right? But this year, man, you got a hell of an argument from a lot of people. You could easily say, yeah, you could split it between the clips or clips. I'm sorry, because there's no the per Malice who created the group, right? You could say clips, but shoot, you could say Freddie Gibbs. You could say Freddie Gibbs. Um, shoot, not for nothing, because he got 2 projects out this year and they both fire. You could say Larry June, depending on who you are. They got the Alchemist joint, he got the Carlo joint, the Alchemist and 2 Chainz joint from earlier this year, and then you got this one with Cardo. Um, shoot, I've only heard a couple of joints off of it, but many people are saying that Chance got the rap album of the year, or at least he has a rap album of the year contender. And I was supposed to listen to that along with um Tiana Taylor. I was supposed to listen to both of those and come back and give y'all reviews. And I apologize. I have not been able to do that because I'm just not in the mode. I'm not into the mode of wanting to hear new music. I'm here to be inspired by music right now. I'm trying to be inspired. I'm trying to have my vibe captured. I'm here to absorb a certain energy. And I don't think we account for that enough. You know, we live in this world, this digital era where everything is on your phone. You don't tangibly go out with cash money. Like, you don't have to have cash as a mandatory to buy a physical copy of an album. So we just kind of just like let all these waves, we just let these waves just go to us and through us. You know what I mean? And I've been on the hunt, like just trying to restore a feeling, trying to feel something. And look, and the Clips album was holding it down, and the Freddie Gibbs album is holding it down. I officially do have those 2 as 1 and 1A as far as albums of the year, like complete albums, because those are the 2 albums I have gone back to the most, with everything being out. But if I had to pick a actual artist, it would be that's capturing the core of my energy. It is absolutely Larry June. Let me see. Let me see. My man Jones. Okay, Jones on the opposite side of the Chance talk. He said it's a good album, but it ain't album of the year contender. But I was never big on Chance. And you know what? And I think that's important too. And wildly enough, Jones, I think just as you're saying it's not because you're not a big fan of him, I think other people are saying it is because they're also not a big fan of dude. They just know that the last time they heard him, it was probably no problems. and with 2 Chainz and Wayne, and they heard that the last album was garbage. I've had a couple conversations about the Chance album, and one person was like, you know what? I didn't really feel nothing Chance was doing. He was like, I get that. He said, I get that one song, that one album was big, Coloring Book. I was like, yeah, I was like, Coloring Book was overrated to me, but when I said it in real time, people looked at me crazy. I said my favorite project from him is still Acid Rap. Now keep in mind, I haven't heard this new project yet, so I'm not gonna say anything about comparing those two. I was like, but yo, outside of a handful of songs, it's like I only liked like 3 or 4 off of that actual Coloring Book album. It wasn't that great to me, but there was a lot of firepower in that one record. And I love Blessings with I think it was Ty Dolla Sign. Um, so it ain't like it was. I'm not saying it's garbage, but it wasn't. People were talking about the Coloring Book album like we were talking about the Clips album this year. They were talking about Coloring Book like it was Good Kid, Mad City. They were talking about that like it was nothing was the same, and I'm like, I'm not there. Cool, y'all like it. That's good, but I'm not on that train. I'm not doing that. So I totally get that on both sides. Yes, the Cyber No ID joint is a super dope album. I actually did I review that either late last year or early this year, or maybe I just mentioned it. But I do love that joint though. That's it's a super dope album. One more. He said Chance is overrated in general, but that's a whole tangent, and you got to shut it. Yeah, no. Hey, listen, because I do believe you're right. I do believe you're right. And if I could just list just some of the greatest Chicago rappers like really from Chicago, I don't have him anywhere near the top 10. I don't have him near it. And for anybody that would be confused about how he wouldn't be in there, listen, I'm putting Twista in there, putting Common in there, right? So that's 2. I got all 3 members of Do or Die, okay? So AK Bilo and the other cat, even though, you know what I'm saying? Even though, wait, you know what? Do he actually rap? I don't know. We'll leave it at 4 though, because I Cap 1, Bump J, Shauna, Brat. Like we're at 8. You know what I'm saying? We're at 8 with just those. I would put Saba and I would put Vic Mensa as better rappers in them. So I'm already at 10. And I know I'm leaving some people out. You dig what I'm saying? So it ain't even that, you know. But it's all good. Let me see, my cousin's in here. What up? What up, D Wayne? Gifted that new album. That new album, the second best out his catalog behind Coloring Book. So you got Coloring Book as the best album in Chance's catalog, and that is where we shall differ, because I do not think that album is great. Let me see. I'll listen. Oh, my man Wang isn't here. I'll listen to the Chance from I Love New York before I listen to Chance the Rapper. Oh my God. Oh Lord. Yo, that is insane. Now, hey, listen, for real. For the rap Chance, to me, when it's just the rappity rap vibe, that's the best Chance. So that's why I do like acid rap, because a lot of that ain't about nothing. He just rapping. Now he getting smoked on the entire album. Like every feature verse is better than his. Like he didn't out rap nobody on the album, but it's still dope. You know what I'm saying? Like Twista smoked him, Bronson murdered him, Bino slaughtered him. Like it was bad. It was bad. But it's great beats. It is dope rhymes, and that's what we're here for. You know what I'm saying? Hey, that's a fact. Hold on here. Wait on Weekends Out Blast Acid Rap. Yeah. I want to say, Acid Rap over Coloring Book for me, cuz off top. Yeah, hey, this is a fact. Because Ultralight Beam should have definitely been the intro for Coloring Book. That should have literally been the intro for Coloring Book. Ultralight Beam should have been there. And he could have just took what the third verse or second verse on No More Parties in LA. That would, you know what? I mean, yeah, yeah. You could tell that was when Kanye was trying to Thanos chants with the gospel song, the gospel slash old Kanye sound. Yeah. So yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you 100% on that. But man, listen, we can bring it back to the rap. You know, so we can talk about this all day. I actually love this conversation. This was an impromptu pivot that I didn't expect, but I do appreciate it because I love talking about this. But I do want to listen to Chance album because I do see very positive reviews on it, and it's not the overwhelming, we spent a budget for everybody to tell us this is great type of thing. It's literally no, you know what, hey y'all, you know, I know we ain't really cared in a few years, but Chance actually got some heat out. So that's why I do want to hear about it because I mean I do want to hear the album because there was literally no reason to talk about Chance with this year that hip hop has had. 2025 will go down as one of the greatest years in hip hop history, in my personal opinion. And I don't think it's even it shouldn't be a debate now as we're in September. And no matter who drops in this fourth quarter, you have, I would say, for sure, five or six incredible rap albums. Five or six incredible rap albums that are worthy of like, yo, no, this is hard. This defines the year. This can be this, that, or whatever. And then you got some stuff that just went. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, I'm not the biggest fan, have not listened, but I hear Gunna's 2 for 2, and he's got another fire album out. You know, so there's that. But let's talk, man. Let's talk. Let's talk as civilians that just love music and black people. Can we do that? Can we talk about we just want to talk as just civilians that love black people and that love hip hop as a culture and rap as an art form, man. Because I just watched, and matter of fact, I literally just finished watching this, and I was like, should I wait till tomorrow? I was like, nah, let me go while some of these are fresh in my mind. I took some notes. But I can speak from the heart and from the mind here because I'm literally just fresh off of watching it. But first, let me get back to Joan real quick. You looking forward to Iceman? Hey, you know what? I ain't gonna cap. Yeah, a little bit. If okay, the 2K slider is 99. I'm 70% interested. I'm 70% looking forward to Iceman because I don't know what Drake we're gonna get, but I am concerned for Drake because this is the first time that women are not head over heels over the moon for a new Drake look or a new Drake song or a new Drake album. So I'm anticipating it just for that. Like, who is this gonna be for and why? But I like I actually like What Did I Miss? I like it. It's it's as vintage Drake as you're going to get. That I don't give a fuck if you love me. I don't give a fuck if you like me. I like hey, I like it because that's what he do. That's what he does. And I like when Drake drakes. I look, I know people be like, oh, it's the singing with the raps, but come on, man. That's just been too long in the game. We're going on what 5 decades of at least one rapper singing or adding R&B or pop elements to their song to make it go. He just happens to be the guy that's definitely doing it all the time for every album. And it's not just like a 1 or 2 off or 3 off. You know what I'm saying? Like in a lot of ways, Slick Rick fathered Drake's style. Do with that information what you want. You know, because we often make the comparison, oh, Andre 3000 did it first, Lauryn Hill did it first. Fonte, you know what I'm saying? We often make those parallels and comparisons. But what about Slick Rick? What about the Great Adventures of Slick Rick? What about Hey Young World and Mona Lisa and Lottie Dottie? Like all of that. He's singing. He's singing on those records. And he's rapping and telling stories. Now they may not be soft stories. They may not be, stuff about going through women's phone and all of that carrying on. But I mean, it's still that was what 86. So it's never gonna end, bro. So I am I'm looking forward to it because I want to listen to this and I want to see like who is this for? Because Drake seemingly has no friends, but now has he ran out of fans as well and ran out of supporters as well? That's what I'm curious to know. So that's why I want to hear this. But yeah, so far though, but the only thing that's even halfway heat is that whatchamajig. What did I miss? What did I miss? You know what I mean? Hey, you know what I'm saying? Hey, Bobby, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Which is like, well, she like the new Daria, right? Maybe it's for them. You dig what I'm saying? But but hey, honestly, she don't even like the music either. So I'm kind of curious what they about to do, what they about to say, what they about to do, man. I'm curious, man. But yes, let's pivot real quick. We're gonna bring it back to some rap conversation, man. We can have a free for all after I say what I got to say here, man, because I'm having fun already. This is great. So again, I watched the Big Bank and Young Thug conversation, man, and I was actually shocked. Once all the audio started leaking, and I saw the new video, and the new joint is kind of cheeks. And the first thing I said to myself in the car or on my walk to work, I was just like, man, I actually missed the days when I couldn't understand a word Young Thug was saying because he ended up being so fired at me when I couldn't understand a word he was saying, or when it didn't quite make sense, or when I was caught off guard by some of the things, right? That's what kind of drew me in. But I was like, now that he's very clear and clerical and there's clarity in all of his raps and the things that he's saying, I was just like, oh my God, this is bad. This is rough. I don't know how to feel. Man, watch out. You know what I mean? But I'll say this, man. Shout out to Big Bank, man. Finally, a great hip hop media interview where the host and the A mic has just let the artist speak. That is so important. My tremendous pet peeve about Drink Champs, which is also my pet peeve with the Joe Budden podcast, which is also my pet peeve a lot of times with it was $1 million worth of game at certain points in time. It's just like everybody's so gung-ho and ready to get their own stuff off that we don't even let the guests speak. We don't let them talk, come to full conclusions, make full statements. Like it's just like the thing of like cutting people off. It's always terrible for me, but man, this was great. And this was actually a masterclass interview from a well-respected individual in the city of Atlanta for one of the premier artists of the past, 10 years now, decade, maybe decade plus now, artist and Young Thug. And I think this is and what's so dope about this interview for me, first of all, is that you can't get it anywhere else. And I mean that in a very a real way, in a very positive way. Um, because he can't go to Big Boy's Neighborhood and get this done. He can't go to Act and get this done. This can't get done with Rob Markman or Elliot and B Dot. Joe Budden can't get this interview. And when I say this interview, it's not booking Young Thug, but getting Young Thug to talk like this, especially when you are in a position of being like you were one of those ones in Atlanta and you've seen it. He said he mentioned this in the interviews, like 46, 47 years of age. And so he's been in a space where he's seen this game and a lot of things that come with it, both the streets and the music industry. And it was cool for one, somebody to be speaking to him that way, but then speaking to him again. And this is, and I'm not going to call out names because I'm not in the spirit of tearing anybody down, but it was a street dude talking to another street dude about street dude things, but not having to prove that you a street dude or you've been a street dude. Like that's, and I think that is so important. That is so important. That's why the title is what it is today. And that's why it was important for Big Bank to have that conversation with Thug, because unfortunately, also in a lot of this, when a lot of these interviewers, and look, and I've seen it on my low level, just if you've ever been to another radio station or you've been somewhere else, you've seen other DJs, when everybody's trying to get into the content game, you know what I'm saying? And because they they may not have went to school for journalism or not have a lick of media broadcasting sense, you know, they they just appeal to the street thing. So I'm gonna show up high, I'm gonna show up drunk, or both, or and oh we just kicking it, man, we just doing what we do, you know what I'm saying? Oh, real nigga shit, RNS. And it's just like, and everything is, you feel me, you know what I'm saying? I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so like what you like, you know what I'm saying? What what you think about the Gunna situation? And it's just like, oh, come on, dog. We gotta sit through a half hour of that. Yuck, you know what I mean? But and this interview is this conversation is 3 hours long, but it's absolutely worth every second of it. I'm very glad I watched it. I was gonna take my time, but I seen another clip that made me think, you know what? Hold on. Let me check this out. And I love that it was so authentic. It was so authentic from the perspective of, Bank ain't got nothing to prove to nobody, and I love that. I think a lot of personalities, interviewers, whoever you want to call them, I think a lot of people, if you will, are so uncomfortable with being themselves that they want to adjust to whatever they feel the artist is, and we're going to talk about that aspect as well too, right? Because I've watched dudes turn up the street slider, you know what I'm saying? They turn up the street, the hood nigga volume is up high. You know what I'm saying? Your street slider is up because, oh, we got a young thug in the building and he about to do this interview. And it's just like, man, come on, man. Be secure in your self, be secure enough with yourself to not have to even code switch on that degree. We often talk about code switching when it comes to dealing outside of our race, right? We often talk code switching in that, but what about the code switching that takes place when you feel you in the presence of gangsters or real dudes or street dudes? Like, we never talk about that, you know what I mean? Because it's okay to not be a street dude. And this conversation was the perfect example and the perfect explanation of that. Because to get to the first part, well, the second part of my notes is this what this showed me is that Thug is a great example of great morals in the wrong world, right? And if you haven't seen this, spoiler alert, maybe come back in like 10 or 15 minutes, right? Um, because I do want to talk about this. Thug, great morals in the wrong world. He respects any man that's out here being a man, right? And being a man to him is in a state of provision, being a provider. And so, if you're taking care of your mama, you're taking care of your kids, your girl, your brothers, your friends, whoever you're taking care of, if you are taking care of them, he automatically considers you a real man. He got respect for you. And even to his credit, he was like, I won't even do nothing to you if I know that's how you popping it, right? If that's how you rocking, you're a provider, you providing for people, you putting people on, you putting people in a great space, you making sure people don't want for nothing. Awesome. I ain't gonna do nothing to you. The problem with that, though, at the same time, is He wants to have great morals and great character and meet great people in the streets. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's thank you, Jones. I appreciate that. It's like, dog, the criminal world at its core is not filled with great people. It's filled with people that could be great. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's filled with people that could be great. It's not like this isn't because again, there's two ways to look at drug dealing. And if you really have been around street dudes or people or real criminals, career criminals, you know the difference. You know, I remember people buying. I remember people selling dope to like pay the rent or pay the electric bill or get cable at the crib. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember people selling dope so they could buy real food because food stamps didn't cover everything or at least put the stuff that they wanted. You know what I'm saying? And and that's great morals, but you are in the wrong world because when you are putting the criminal element, when you're trying to do good in the criminal element is going to take you over. There ain't no, you ain't changing the streets. The streets going to change you. You dig? You're not going to, you can't beat the streets. You know what I'm saying? You'll never beat it. So while I do commend Thug for having such a great moral compass, it's almost like he didn't realize, or he still just kind of doesn't realize that everything you're saying is great, but look where you telling it. You know what I'm saying? And this is different. This is different from the church, right? This is different from the church because if you're a pastor and you have a church, you put the church in the middle of the hood. You can put it in the most brutal, bloodiest block on the in the neighborhood. You can put your church right there. But the thing is, when you open the doors, you're pushing how God is going to save you and restore your faith. He can change your life. He can do these great and wonderful things to him. You just got to come to him, you know what I'm saying, and read this Bible, confess your sins, give your life over, get baptized, whatever it is, right? You want to do that. You can do that, and then you can convert the gangbangers, the drug dealers, the prostitutes, or whoever. But you can't be like, okay, I'm out here in the streets and y'all doing criminal activity. Let me engage in the criminal activity, but just follow my lead. Because I'll tell you how to be an upstanding gentleman, and I'll teach you how to be a great man of character while we in the street selling dope together. It's not gonna work like that. It's just not going to work like that. And it looks like Thug is just learning that lesson. He's learned that lesson and he's obviously hurt about it. Obviously, hurt by Gunna is the biggest takeaway from this. And what is so important, especially as everybody is like, oh, snitches, rats, whatever, whatever, right? What is so important is that in this conversation, if you take away nothing else, and if you are so fantasized, I mean, excuse me, if you are so mesmerized by street life and all of that and everything that comes with that, right? What I want you to do is understand that this Thug and Gunner situation is not a Gucci and Jeezy situation. It's not even a Luda and T.I. situation. It's literally a it's family business gone too far, and it's one person's expectation not being the same as another's reality. You know what I'm saying? Um, Gunna is not a street dude, and he's proven that several times. And even in this conversation, Thug even confirms, like, even hey, look, even the stuff y'all don't know, like, he's not a street dude. He wouldn't even talk about the Crime Stopper situation. He said something else. And matter of fact, I mean, and again, if you are if you're living by street code, maybe this is snitching. I don't know. I don't know. I am a civilian. I like to get fly. I like to get money, and I like to chill, dog. But he also said that this whole Rico case, is rooted in something that Gunna did. So, and that ain't it's disappointing because obviously the people that I guess care about these things, that their voice isn't loud enough. But see, the onus has to be on the street dudes. The onus has to be on the dudes that know better. You know what I'm saying? You know better. Um, this isn't Thug made the mistake of thinking that he could convert Gunna to a street dude. That's the other thing. He made that mistake. He made the mistake of thinking, "Oh, you with me? Your pops was my OG. Your pops is a street dude. He told me before he even left this world, before he knew he was going to leave this world, to look after you." And I think Thug made the mistake of saying, "Oh, I'm gonna turn him into a street dude like me." No, no, I don't think that was the plan at all. You know what I'm saying? Hey, this right here. If you a gangster, why are you doing criminal activity around civilians? Right there. And Jones, and this is literally into my next point, because he was trying to convert Gunna to be a street dude, and Gunna's not with it. And that's fine. And again, he said something, real interesting to me. And this is the fine line of hip hop music, hip hop culture, rap music, right? This is the fine line. Because Thug in this conversation says, "Hey, I hear the raps. You portraying a gangster, you portraying a street dude in your raps. So I'm expecting you to be that." So the problem is obvious, right? The problem is obvious. But again, Young Thug don't know that because look how he popping it. Like, yo, no, I really doing it. and I came back and started rapping about it. Like, that's, well, allegedly, right? I don't know. I've never been in the studio with Gunna. I mean, a Thug or Gunna. I ain't been in the studio with neither one of them. But you know, there is there's something to be said. And again, we often say, "Oh man, you should know the difference. You should know the difference." We've seen the Ice Cube versus Easy E thing. We did this, we did that. And I'm like, man, listen. Some people really are in their own bubble. And if you are in Atlanta and you were coming of age during the trap music era into urban legend and into, you know what I'm saying, T.I. versus TIP and Paper Trail, and you are watching T.I. be in and out of jail while dropping platinum albums, and then you watch Jeezy versus Gucci, and you see somebody get murdered out of that situation, and then Gucci, one of the people involved in that, also in and out of jail, also changing up and going crazy, puts you on. you may have the reality of no, everybody lived their raps. I don't even understand what you mean. Like that, like that. I can see that literally being a thing. It's like, well, no, because if you ask him who his influences are, and if he was to tell you Ti, Jeezy, Gucci, Shorty Low, and he was to drop all these names, you'd be like, oh damn. Well, in his mind, no, this is the way, and then look, you got Outcast, who are literally the outcast of that situation. They're like, yeah, hey, you could be like that, but if you really in the streets, you can rap about it. So I do understand his dilemma, but at the same time, I think personal discernment needs to really be put on. Sometimes a person can already let you know who they are and what they built for by just a conversation, or you just getting an update on their actions. I mean, listen, even in that news clip that went viral when he was like, yo, dudes killed my brother, he didn't do that. I was like, he very well could have had nothing to do with that and just wanted justice for his brother. So I did try to justify it. But even at that time, I was like, but Gunna's not a street dude, right? Like nothing, like for something about it just didn't seem right with me. It didn't seem like Gunna was just the most thuggish, ruggish of us all. He wasn't the super gangster to me. I never looked at him as like, oh man, he's potentially a menace. I just never looked at him like that. And a lot of the music that I liked or felt was kind of decent. I thought it was just standard, like just but I'll get tough, what I'm saying, kind of rap. But I didn't really think it was like some real. I didn't ever classify it as real street music. I think we also talked about that on Banging on Lunch Tables around that time. It's like 2016, 2017, I believe. But saying all that to say that uh I feel sorry for Thug because he's obviously a person that cares. He obviously has a really big heart, even with all the traumatic things that he's been through. But unfortunately, he's trying to have a heart in the streets. And that even that concept is wild to me. You can't have a heart in the streets, bro. And this is not me speaking as just like a street dude at all, because I'm not. But this is me saying that you're in a world where the objective for many people is kill, steal, and destroy, come up by any means. I'm willing to risk my own life or freedom to get what you have or what anybody else has. So therefore, I I'm thinking you can't have a heart in that. You know what I'm saying? Like even Batman parents got killed in the alley and they snatched the pearls off her neck. So they took her jewelry and her life. They took his mama jewelry and is like Bruce Wayne just out here. You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't see it. Like sometimes they even killed a kid in real life. You don't even get a chance to become Batman. But I digress. Let me get to these comments real quick before I get back to my notes. I'm just gonna read my notes off. All right. Hey, look, the most you can do around them is maybe buy buy weed, buy some coochie or some kitty. Speed and maybe run a red light. Yeah. Hey, listen, because look, some people are tellers. Some people are tellers, and you're gonna know. You're gonna know who you can and who you can't trust. Listen, I don't know what it was. I don't want to indict. I don't want to incriminate nobody. But I've had a couple friends and a couple cousins that were always doing things in the mischief. And a lot of times I was glad I was left out. Not because I was going to tell, but because I didn't want the backlash that came with it. I didn't want the shame that would have came from my grandma. You know what I mean? And there's some things that, man, and unless God telling her right now, there's some things I definitely got away with that I was like, dude, that was super stupid. I had no business being there. I had no business doing that. I had no business being a getaway driver for that. That was stupid. That I can't believe I did that. And for what? Because I didn't even get anything from it other than trying to protect one of the homies, trying to protect a cousin. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that it was just stupid. You know what I'm saying? So then I look at a situation like this, and I'm a person not telling. Like, I'm a person not telling. The thing, like, my thing was, hey, the less you tell me, the better, because I can really play dumb if we get caught. So don't tell me nothing. Tell me what I gotta do. And that ain't the smartest thing to do either, right? But again, when you're a teenager, some things make more sense than some things make more sense after or less sense after you've grown up, right? But I'm saying that to say Thug also knew who Gunna was and was still putting him in positions to just keep folding, I guess. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what Gunna's logic is behind wanting to be in the life, but then also obviously self-preservation. Especially in Thug's eyes. Again, I don't know. I don't know how the inner workings of plea deals work and all that, so I can't even get really deep into that. But all I know is that Thug is very hurt by all of this, and it was all man. It was almost sad seeing them tear up. You know what I'm saying, and get into that situation. It was kind of sad seeing them tear up about that, but it wasn't. It definitely wasn't something that you can just sweep under the rug or just come into a situation where, like, you know what, this is easily forgivable, because if he does life in prison, we're having a whole different conversation. But back to the actual conversation. Big Bank asks probably the best and most important question, not only of the year, but probably in hip hop and in Black culture. He asked the most important question. And the question was, how do we get people to stop caring about the real street shit? How do we get people to stop caring about it? And again, most important question of the year, probably in hip hop and Black culture. Jay-Z said, what was that around? What was that? I was gonna say Blueprint 3, but it was after that, I want to say. It might have been on the Meek album. I forget. But he was like, Streets is dead, Streets is done. And I think we see that now. It's 2025. Streets is dead. Streets are done. We need a better way to prioritize portraying ourselves in a more positive light. We need a better way, because look, this entire decade has been nothing but death and destruction from one angle or another when it comes to the street tales, the street activity, like all of it. And unfortunately, there's a long list. Even before the pandemic, didn't Triple X XXX Tentacion, he died, but he was killed before 2020, I believe. I believe he was. And then you got the what was it? Mo 3, and then you got Drakeo the Ruler, and then you got, man, who else? Pop Smoke, obviously. Like, so many people have been murdered, taken off of this earth way too soon. These are young people. Everybody I'm naming, I don't believe even half of them, 2 or 3 of them, were over 25. And that's disheartening. That's disheartening as a Black person. That's disheartening as a person that loves hip hop culture, that loves rap music. Like, I'm here for the art. I'm here for the entertainment. I am here for the words that you pen down and what they mean and how they can elevate people and elevate your own life and circumstance. So to be in a situation right now where we have so many young people dying, this question is so important. How do we get people to stop caring about the street shit? And wildly enough, it's going to start with somebody like Young Thug because I didn't realize this narrative was being pushed, but I didn't know that the collateral damage with this RICO case and everything with YF and Lucci and all that. I didn't also know this was also just a tentacle on the core thought that Young Thug was ruining the Atlanta music scene. Let me say it again. I had no idea that that was all meant as a core to say that Young Thug was actually ruining the Atlanta music scene with all the beef. Like apparently people feel like, dude, everything was cool till you got on. Everybody was cool till you got on. But you got on, you started dissing Wayne, you started dissing YF and Lucci. You had you was put on by Gucci, but then you did this and you did that. You had an issue with those people, and everybody was coming from this perspective, like, dog, this is your fault. So there and even though he ended the he did confirm, he's like, no, he was like, listen, man, but I'm also the person that got 21 and little baby to stop beefing about over nothing. I'm telling people now, don't do nothing to Gunna. Don't do it. I was like, yeah, and that's cool. And I'm not saying that that's wrong, but I mean, hey, look, him and Rich Homie Quan had something. Rest in peace to Rich Homie. So I look at all those situations, and I literally just come from that perspective of, well, how do we stop it? You got to be the one. Like this is where impact and influence, and if you are the person that you say you are, and the morals and character that you stand on, now here is the perfect opportunity for you to put them in the proper light and in the proper world. Because you can make your music, you have a large platform, millions of people want to hear from you, or at least hundreds of thousands want to hear from you. And if you know, if Gucci doesn't resonate with this younger generation like it did with my generation, and maybe the people like right under my generation, then your transformation is definitely going to work with the people that were 15, you know, 14, 15, 16 while listening to your first music, like back when Stoner was out and people were like, oh, they're pre-teens or whatever. I think it's going to resonate just as well because he does have to be the person that's like on a more positive vibe, on a more higher frequency. And if you are making money with music, then you don't need to be in the streets. Like that there's no need to be 1 foot in and 1 foot out. There's literally no need. So he needs to stay focused on that. You know what I'm saying? Because again, Gunna isn't a street dude, you know. That was the biggest takeaway. And you trying to bring the street out of a dude that didn't have an ounce of street in him, even though his pops come from that. And we totally discount the fact that a lot of these street dudes, once they have kids, their main objective is keeping their kids out of the streets. So really, I mean, look, if you learn nothing, learn from Purnell. Learn from Purnell and what he told Kane. You know what I'm saying? He was like, yo, look after my son. Teach him the way we live was bullshit. That's what Purnell told him. He was doing life. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, unfortunately, too little, too late. Kane listened too late, but um, that should be highlighted. We're not supposed to be raising generations of street dudes because the shelf life in regular society is small, short lifespan, and it's not worth it, man. The other takeaway I took from this is that Thug doesn't music business the way he needs to. He doesn't, he doesn't, and he's making unrealistic expectations of artists, you know? Again, I commend him for saying other things that he's purchased and he's bought and he's provided for his artists. Again, Gunna specifically, and how he has, he's bought this, he's bought that, he's got his masters, he ain't took no money from Gunna. He's literally he's in a deal better than what Steve Stout is giving out at United Masters. He's giving them 100% of everything that he's making. So Gunna really is a rich person because he's the only person that we know of that signed a deal to an artist and to a label, but is getting 100% of everything that the projects make. So again, I commend that. However, you are also in this conversation feeling betrayed. And now, because you couldn't convert him to being a street dude, and you're not taking your rightful cut of the money you helped him make, and you are not getting the return on your investment. Now you're even more mad. Like now you're hurt. Because now he was like, yo, he tried to take my freedom. He didn't took all my money. I'm making sure he got money. I'm making sure that his family is good. And look where he got me. My brother, that's where you got yourself. You got to look. Music business, separate from family. Music business, separate from the streets. Music business, paramount over what artists feel. Again, artist, musician, rapper, they are jobs in the music business. And if you're in a situation where you sign a deal and the investment is $50,000 to make sure an album goes number one, or if it's $1 million to make sure an artist has or has not, or has or doesn't want for anything, the expectation on the low end is that you turn my 1 million into 1.25, right? At least let me recoup everything I got and get another $250,000 out the deal. Let me at least make that money back. Now, Gunna's not responsible for what he doesn't take. But at the same time, I don't want to hear about that now that this whole situation has unraveled in an unsavory type of way. I get it, but this ain't it. This ain't the move. This ain't the move. And final thing I thought, and this is definitely what the biggest separation Thug needs, right? Because there's man shit and then there's street shit. And the two don't have to coincide with each other to be real, right? Because a real man is a provider. A real man is not necessarily out here gossiping. A real man is honorable with his successes, much like his losses. He will own up to his mistakes and he will wear those. He will try to admit, apologize, correct, and stay consistent, right? My estimation of what street stuff is, street dudes are. Look, we doing crimes together. We know what we signing up for. We all in to do these crimes. And then there's a split, right? Then there's a fork in the road. Because then there's some that's like, hey, look, we're going down together. This our body, this our dope, these our guns. Look, criminal code, street code is we all going down together. But there's this other side that's self-preservation, it's survival of the fittest. It's, hey, we doing dirt together. And some people may look like it as I wouldn't have got caught if you weren't in it, or or I wouldn't be in this situation, or I'll sacrifice you to get out of this situation. And to me, that is the real street rule from what we see. But I'm only going by what we see. I've never planned on being in this world at all. I'm way too old to be getting in the streets now. That would be crazy. Right. But I think we are trying to have moral, good, solid character. And some people will. You know what I'm saying? Some people will have it. But if you're coming to the streets alone, you're going to leave in the streets alone. So that means anybody can be sacrificial. And it doesn't sound like Thug is privy to that. And that's unfortunate. Because again, he looked genuinely hurt and he was genuinely upset. He was genuinely angry about a lot of the things that had happened. Um, but the best thing for Doug, the best thing for Thug to do, step away from the streets and realize that he can't convert everybody to be a street dude, especially gun. Right? That's what I took away from it. Um, a lot of good quotes and just the way he says certain things. Listen, my favorite quote of the year is, I created you, nigga. Well, God created you, but I helped. I love that. God created you, but I helped. Press up them t-shirts. I'm buying 3 of them. All right. That's what I want. God created you, but I helped. Oh man, I'm wearing that every Father's Day. If you know, you know. But man, listen, I'm gonna move on from this topic into the next one, which is Dame Dash. But man, hey, listen, man, prayers to everybody, man. Hey, look, leave the streets alone, man. The streets ain't safe, so stay out of them. We got sidewalks for a reason. They building sidewalks out here in Nashville. Why? Because the streets ain't safe. You dig? And if anything, man, hey, look, unless we're talking about the women, don't live your raps. Don't live your raps. It's because it's unless your raps are about being a beacon of light, being positive, being somebody that we can look up to, we can admire, that we can invest into. Somebody's going to add positively and contribute positively to society. Live those raps. But yo, man, streets is done. Streets is dead. This case and everything from it, because I mean, look, everybody has a different opinion on snitching. Everybody. Everybody's a rat now. Everything is rat-tastic now that you can't even keep up. I just be trying to watch and listen and read, and it's just like, I guess I get it. But then again, I don't. So, and that's why I stayed to myself, man. And you pray for your homies in the streets that they get out, because it's not the life to live. I mean, again, I'm speaking from being in my 40s now. I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine still wanting to be out and about in just the street life, like living by that code, but also that fear of any day could be your last. I mean, granted, every day could be your last no matter what you're into, but you do speed up the clock when you don't get out the streets. You know, I don't know anybody successfully gang banging, thugging, doing whatever. I don't know any successful criminals that have 4 decades on the streets and prospering. I don't know any. If you do, hit me in the comments. Camp from the Port Show. One last topic for the night, man. Dame Dash, man. Damn. Dame Dash, man, my fellow tourist, one of the few people that early in my coming of age of learning about the music industry and the music business, one of the first people I really wanted to be like in the space. Rockefeller. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. Rockefeller was such a polarizing and dynamic record label, company, movement. Rockaware. I had Rockaware. Shout out to the dudes on North Avenue at Top Fashions in Chicago. That's where I was copping from. Trying to save all the money I could, you know. I tried Armadale because of Dame Dash. I don't even like vodka, and vodka definitely tastes like depression. I have not drinking vodka since what 2009, 2010. But it's really sad to me. I'm really hurt and disturbed by everything going on with Dame Dash. You know what I'm saying? This whole thing with him and Cam is sad, and I know it's sad because even Cam, at least he started off. I don't know if things have changed. I haven't seen the updated comment, but the last piece of content I seen from Cam was just like he's like, look, I love you, Dame. I'm not gonna attack you. I'm not gonna get on no bull. Like, and this is Cameron we talking about, the person that can't wait for you to get out of pocket so he can go absolutely crazy on you. Like, the track record is nobody safe no matter what. And he is sparing Dame Dash to a degree. And that's what makes this difficult, right? Because Dame, he in there, he got an eye patch on, complication with diabetes. He waiting on teeth to come in the mail or whatever. And you know, he mad at Cam and everybody else with a different account of the Rockefeller era, whether it's him becoming the vice president or why the Rock broke up. And that now he, I mean, even though he speaks about not speaking on other men, not speaking on other men's money or business and all that, but yet he's saying how Cam used to diss Bleak and everybody around, and now you cool with your ops and excuse me, and you doing all this different stuff, and obviously, if we're keeping score, it does look physically like Dame is down bad and he's lost it. I mean, because health is wealth. You know what I'm saying? He's had on some nice gear. He fly, he still fly. Looks to be in a nice house that's probably paid for all the above, but the man's health is in a bad space, and unfortunately, he's losing a lot of his assets and his monetary legacy. And that's hard to watch from the person that, you know, come from the ultimate hustler and telling us how to boss up and be a boss and all of this. And like, you know, he's met he got on there and I know it's probably jokes, but it's dangerous jokes though, because as 50 Cent acquires paid in full and he's making plans to make it a television series, much like he did with BMF. He's hired, well, he's working alongside Cam. I don't want to say he's hired him, but Cam is going to executive produce the television show. And so Dame gets online and says, you know, hey, congratulations to Cam for making 50 your boss. You know what I mean? And it's just like it's so condescending. It's so it's so volatile. It had a very disrespectful undertone in it. And I want to talk about this because I've tried entrepreneurship quite a few times, and I'll never stop trying. I want to be clear on that, but it takes a lot of trial and error, a lot of trying and failing, a lot of it, right? And you know, it was funny, and he made a lot of sense, but We're watching Dame Dash literally live and die by that Breakfast Club interview about being a boss. And if you're a boss, you're not a real man. And if you're not a, you know what I'm saying, you might as well call somebody else daddy. And it's just like, that was extreme. That was extreme because on the flip side, the only other thing that he had to offer people was like, hey, well, look, you get your money in the street. We will front you a brick on consignment. See, again, when do we get people to stop caring about street shit? Like, literally, like, because it takes money to make money. Whether you have a product or service, whether you want to sell cookies or you want to clean houses, you're going to need some money. You're going to need money. And if the only way you can tell people to get money, especially if you don't have a bank account or can't get a loan or anything for like a young person, if what you're doing is if the next thing you're telling them is, oh, go get some work and hit the block, bro, they may not even make it to their actual dream. And that's dangerous because that moment, which was a really big moment last decade, and in just like Black culture, hip hop culture, conversation in history, because all of a sudden we started job shaming. We started downplaying 9 to 5s. We started making people feel less than because they're not starting a business or owning their own business and being an entrepreneur or a CEO. That was the big flex, and it's like, yeah, it's not that it's not supposed to be a flex because that is quite the accomplishment when you do it. But make no mistake ever in your life, great companies are ran by great people, and great people can only be found by great owners. So no matter what your business is, you're going to need a great person to work with you to make it all it can be. And somewhere along the line, that got lost in translation because if we're all CEOs, there will be no payroll and there will be no consumers. Everybody is also not meant to be a CEO or an entrepreneur, and that's okay. That's okay. You're not less than anybody because you don't want to own your own business or because you don't want to run your own business. I don't like people saying that because the first thing I want to do is I want to know what you do for a living. I want to know what you do. And since you're going to job shame somebody, how much do you make after you pay everything that you owe and taxes? And to keep your business legal and to keep the IRS off of you. Like, how much do you pay? How much do you pay? What cost do you pay to be the boss, bro? And now more than ever is a time where Dame should be in just a better light, the person, he doesn't know if the person that's, working on his eye, owns his own practice or what he has, or the person he needs his teeth from. Like, dog, it's there's a privilege in being a CEO or the head of a company or a business owner. It's privilege because you were fit to survive th- every aspect of the storm, right? In an effort to make something happen. But the pride that will come to fall is when you are shaming other people for doing other ventures that don't involve them, investing all their money or, you know, starting it themselves. There is so much that Dame Dash can learn about some of the businesses that he has if he would just be willing to collab with other people or maybe work with someone else another year or two. There's a network to be achieved. There's so many things. Because listen, another thing they don't tell you about entrepreneurship is that the first people you're going to meet are other entrepreneurs, and that may not lead to such a powerful network because you all might just be broke together. Working for certain companies, especially if you're in a decent level, if you're in a pretty high level or decent level, even the mid level, you're going to get to meet the people above you, or are aspiring or have already achieved some things, and they can actually help you out and guide you through certain things. You know, I just want us to stop job shaming, especially us Black people. We got to stop that. All of this, I don't want a 9 to 5. My partner can't have a 9 to 5. I'm not working for nobody. I'm my own boss. Um, I gotta make 6 figures or my life is over. Like all of that is just trash thinking, man. It's not positive. Life is already hard enough. There's a hard enough mental strain going on for everybody right now, you know. And these jobs, so and if these jobs aren't keeping up with the cost of living, I don't think you understand the kind of bind you're putting on people to say, now you got to start your own business. You got to start your own business when the average rent for a lot of places and a lot of cities that people desire to be in, not just the big three, but beyond that, is $2,000. You know, like you can't, there's not too many metropolitan areas you can live in the United States where you're not going to pay at least 15 to 1600 for a studio apartment, let alone you want bathrooms and bedrooms or you want a house. And meanwhile, they have the median salary, average salary being under 50,000. Still right now, I believe to this day. I'll check it right now. Average salary in the US, dun, 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 $39,982. That was as of 2023, right? So in 2 years, God bless inflation, $62,192. That's the average now. And now you think about that. 62,000. And that is you considering inflation in 2 years since 2023. So, bottom of pandemic till now. But do the 3 times a month rent on a $2,000, like let's say you want a 2 bedroom, like, just like average apartment. You're spending most of your income just to live. And we job shaming people. We trying to make somebody feel less than because they want to go punch a clock to get some guaranteed money into their pocket so they can feed themselves or feed their kids or their partner or their pet, like whatever it is. Because listen, I don't know the story behind every homeless person I walk past day to day, but I know that I just thank God and I pray to God that it don't get that bad for me because I don't know what I'll do. But again, I also know that my pride is not out of whack. My ego is not out of control. I was just talking with my wife. Sure, we talk every day, but every week. But I was like, hey, I'll end up at Wendy's if I have to. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that there will never come a time where I am not going to do whatever it takes to get the money that needs to be made because the way worse to me than working for another man, you know what I'm saying, or being on somebody else's payroll is making $0 every day and somebody else got to pay your bills and somebody else got to make sure that you can eat. Like when you can't afford lunch, you can't afford gas, you can't pay your phone bill, now you're fucking up. Now life is a little too real. And now your ego is in question. When you get that low and you don't know what to do, and or then you know what to do, but your pride of your ego won't let you do it. Listen, if you are out there and you aspire to be a boss or a CEO or a business owner, whatever you want to call it, in a certain industry, my literal advice to you, no matter where you start off at, go try to get in the building of one of the leaders of that industry. So, for instance, let's say you want to own your own sandwich shop. Go work at Jimmy John's. Figure out what they're doing, because they seem to never be suffering or that they never seem to be worried about anything. I've never seen Jimmy John's is closing. I've never seen it. You know what I'm saying? If you want to be in the fashion, try to get yourself a job at Gucci or Saint Laurent or wherever. Try. Learn what it is to be in that business, because the money you'll earn with the experience you'll gain will actually stop you from making some mistakes. And I think people are trying to just will themselves into situations that ain't that sexy in order to say, I got out the mud by myself. If you only knew the success rate, if you only truly knew the success rate and how there's an easier way to do things. But I digress. Listen, man, thank you for tuning in tonight. I appreciate you. Whenever you decide to tune in, thank you for tuning in when you decide to tune in. I'll keep the content coming. I'm back to writing. Writing is my art. I'm going to continue to write. And I hope you guys look forward to some of the things I have to write if you want to engage in that part of this brand that is Camp from the Port, you know? But man, hey, look, stay out the streets. It's not safe. It leads you nowhere. Get a 9 to 5. Rent is real. Life is real. Bills are real. Mental health is real. All of this. And man, go be happy. Decompress the way you need to decompress. Do it in the most positive way. Exercise. Eat as little processed food as you can. And again, man, make money with high moral and ethics and expectation. Don't let nobody job shame you. Don't let nobody trick you out of your freedom. And let's pray for one another, man. Or at least just pray for ourselves to wish the best for others. Again, I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you so much. And just know that always and consensually, it's love.